Let's go back to politics, and joining me in the studio is Dennis Shanahan, National Editor at The Australian. Dennis, thanks for your time. Let's start with Anthony Albanese's comment on the minimum wage. It seemed a throwaway remark at a news conference, consistent with their message over a period of time saying wages haven't kept up and all that sort of thing, but to put a specific number on it was a surprise.
It was a surprise. It was a big step. Now, what happened was earlier in the morning, Anthony Albanese was interviewed on the ABC by Patricia Karvelis. He was asked a series of questions and he wouldn't commit to actually saying he supported a wage rise with which the ACTU was supporting at 5.5%. Clearly, the story started to run that he wasn't supporting a wage rise. At the press conference, he clearly tried to put that right and say, no, Labor was actually, it's not what he said, he was actually trying to support a wage rise. But then when asked, did that mean he supported a wage rise at the inflation rate of 5.1%, he said, absolutely. Now, this hasn't been Labor policy. It asks all sorts of questions about wage rises, the flow-on effect to unions, and Labor frontbenchers have since been trying to say, we're talking about cost of living, not inflation. The problem is Anthony Albanese made a point of saying absolutely inflation, 5.1% wage rise match.
Does it make any difference in terms of the polling, though, in your mind? Obviously, we don't know what the polling will say in a few days from now, but you've been looking at the trends for some time. How would this potentially feed into it?
Well, look, I think, Kieran, what we've seen at the polling has demonstrated on a week-by-week basis that this campaign and the polling of this campaign is driven by events. There's no great narrative in the election, and so when something dramatic happens, like in the first week, when Anthony Albanese was unable to name the official cash rate or the unemployment rate, Labor took a big hit, a big 3-point drop. Now, then, when the inflation figure came out and interest rates went up, the coalition suffered a big hit and Labor had recovered. So this is another potential coming at the beginning of the second last week of the campaign for Labor to take another hit on the back of Anthony Albanese appearing not to be across the detail of either Labor policy or economic management. And don't forget, Labor has campaigned on wages for 5 years.
We've only got a minute left, but your read on the polling to this point suggests that Scott Morrison has got an emerging, well, we've known for a while, he's had a women problem, but that is really showing up in these numbers.
Yes, look, I think the poll in Newspoll in The Australian on the cost of living, it came out, it gave a small advantage to Labor on being better able to handle cost of living. When you looked at the breakdown, there was men 44 each, women 6-point gap. Women are more concerned about the cost of living than men because they tend to look at employment. So this could be another moment for the government losing women's support.
Dennis, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.